Your eyes do not deceive you. We are back. We're doing a show. It just so happens to be what would normally be like a big E3 showcase recap show, but there's no E3 this year. It disappeared. It went away. But your eyes do not deceive you. It is me, Brando. It is him, Mike. We're doing a podcast. We're doing this thing we used to do for like 130-something episodes straight, and then sporadically since then. We are back.
Yeah.
You know what? It is what it is. See, some people have actually gotten like, they doubled down on their podcasting during the dark times, you know. But for some reason, myself and many others that we know who could be doing, no, we're not. We have made some content. If you're a loyal Game Addicts viewer, I've also done the Rank 'Em All podcast, where we ranked Metallica. We've done Between the Buried and Me. We've done Van Halen, and we're in the midst of recording Alice in Chains and Breaking Benjamin. So some cool stuff going on over there.
Mr. Diva Breaking Benjamin. Anywho,
yeah. Well, you know what?
They're good. They put out good stuff.
It's an interesting trek for me because I'm just like a laissez-faire Breaking Benjamin. I've never dived into the band, so that it's kind of like I've heard their hits, but that's it. So some interesting commentary from me, some good, some it is what it is. But I'm Brando, he's Mike. We are the Game Addicts podcast, and we do a show where we talk about new games, old games, and all that stuff. But what we're talking about is some of the craziest time of the year. The June month for gaming is like this the time when all the big news comes out about stuff that's coming out for the rest of the year, for maybe the next couple of years. It's when new projects get announced, new stuff gets release dates get announced, all that kind of cool stuff happens. And as we said, this year there was no big, for the past 2 or 3 years there's been no big major event, and we all know why. We don't have to go into that. But I guess they are going to do one next year. They've already said, yeah, we're making plans. This is how it's going to be. To be fair, basically everybody, the biggest ones, have removed themselves from the floor of E3 and do events surrounding the event of E3. Microsoft has its own building. Sony, Nintendo might have a presence there with the Treehouse, but their big direct is usually like just online, and Sony's been doing online stuff in the last couple of years. But we had a lot of cool stuff this year, and we have picked some of our favorite stuff that got announced. Now, we're not going to go through everything. We're not going to literally dive into every single video, every single live stream, anything like that. We're not going to break down the Xbox thing. I wrote down like maybe 5 things from the Xbox. Maybe Mike has a few more. And we're just going to break it down, talk about it, see what we think about it. Me and him have already talked a little bit about some of this stuff, but some of the stuff we haven't had a chance to really dive in deep into a conversation about it, so we'll be hearing each other's opinions candidly for the first time. But before we dive in, I definitely want to give you guys an update about the show. Why haven't there been more episodes? I have not felt like covering gaming. That's the long and short version. I haven't had the drive. Mike literally texted me or said, "Hey, we should do are you doing a podcast about this stuff?" And I went, "Are you telling me you want to?" Literally, the hardest part for me that it takes for me right now to do a show is my own self-esteem. And I don't like asking people anymore. So if somebody asks me, I'm like, yes, let's do it. Because I still enjoy making content. But the audio version of the show is on freeze mode for the time being. I am going to change it at some point, probably get back into making more episodes. Hopefully Mike will join me for some of these episodes as we go along. and I want to try and get myself dedicated again to making some cool content. But of course, something that like we're not going to talk about it at all. But my work life could be changing very shortly. So any plans that I say right now, just put that with a grain of salt. I do want to do more.
You'll be with me on the chaotic shift.
Yeah, well, you know what? Right now, I want to embrace some of the chaos. So, like to me, it'll be a nice break. I would rather have chaos where I know where I'm going to be, and I'm going to be, making some money, and that's where we want to be. But some other people that are going to be making some money are some of these big developers and publishers. This isn't on the list to talk about, but before we dive into it, right before E3 started, did you hear anything about EA wanting to be sold? They were looking into buyers. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I heard that they had kind of threw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I can't remember who they approached.
There was three of them that I remember, but
they pretty much were like, no, we don't want nothing to do with this.
The ones I heard were Disney.
Yeah.
Could have been NBC Universal for whatever reason. Like some of these big conglomerate multimedia companies. None of these are like gaming companies or like none of them were even tech companies that would cash in.
They were all streaming services. I know the two. I can't remember what the third one was.
It could have been Warner Media, but from like of course they do HBO Max, and like they own.
Was it Amazon?
It could be Amazon, which I guess is a tech company. Amazon could be on there. Like, it's not really that big a deal. I just kind of thought that's interesting because EA really didn't have anything this year. But there's been some rumors about some stuff in development. I think they did a trailer for Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is supposedly going to have happening around the same time as the Obi-Wan show that's happening right now.
Yeah.
So interesting to see how that pans out. If you're into those kind of games. I played Fallen Order, and I liked the story, but I'm not a Souls game guy. So I kind of played the game begrudgingly. It's like I like the story a lot, but I don't like having to go back and retrace my steps. So I just try to make it. Eventually, I just dumbed it down to easy. Yeah, I know that, but still.
I played it on medium. And it was pretty rough.
It was like around the midpoint of the game, I decided to like stop being frustrated with the game. So I'm over it. I play games to have fun, which by the way, Mike, before we dive into some of the stuff we're going to be talking about, I bought the new Turtles game, the Shredder's Revenge game. I bought it on the Switch, and physical copies are available. You can get them at limited run. You can also order them at Target and at Amazon.
How does it look?
Dude, this is Turtles 5. This is the sequel to Turtles in Time. Like it is awesome. One thing that they did that was really awesome is they've added the cartoon voice actors into the game for voiceover stuff.
Those are the ones that I remember the most.
And so,
as a kid.
Yeah,
I was a big Turtles fan.
Yeah,
as a kid.
I mean, obviously the ones who are still surviving that are still a part of it. Because James Avery was Shredder, Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince, so he's no longer with us. But yeah, you can play as the 4 Turtles. You can play as April and Splinter, and then after you beat the game, you unlock Casey, and you can have 6 players at once. It's fun. It's chaos. It's just They've expanded on those side scroller beat 'em ups where they add special moves. It's a little bit easier to pull off. I was playing it and I was just grinning from ear to ear.
Did they add unison attack yet? You wouldn't know unless you play with somebody else.
No, I have not, but I have seen where like people can like basically you can tag team and do your specials on them at the same time, and really cause some major damage. First, I've at least beat the first 2 levels. The first boss is Bebop, second boss is Rocksteady, and I'm looking forward to playing the game. Like this is made by people who love Turtles. Joe Grimes, from where we work, he's on the Rank 'Em All podcast with the Van Halen session. He is a huge Turtles collector,
Yeah.
He has a complete, not a complete, I shouldn't say complete. He has all 4 turtles and random ones of the original action figures without the pole punch. Like he's got he's got them nice and complete. He's got a ton of stuff, and I might have clued him in to the $200 limited run box set. That and
Did he buy it?
Well, okay, so
well, if you leave with it, well, okay.
all right. I'm happy for Joe because he's got himself a good woman. She bought it for him.
Oh, that's so nice of her.
So
is it still the dental assistant lady girl?
This one is she was the one who had lived down closer to Indy. And she's like a nurse.
I haven't been on the deck forever.
Yeah, she's like a nurse. He's been with her for a couple of years. And
okay, then same one I'm thinking.
Yeah. Good girl. Good
for him.
Mm-hmm. Turtles is super fun. For anybody who wants to check it out, it's available digitally and physically. If you want to wait, or ordering the game physically, you have to wait until like September, I think, in order to actually receive your copy. But digitally, it is available, and it's super fun. So again, we're going to kind of blend some of these. Sony did a state of play. We're going to talk about a few of the things that happened there. And the first thing that they showed, Mike, was Resident Evil 4 Remake. We knew this was coming. We knew they were doing it. Of course, they had just done RE2 Remake, which is like one of the best games on the PS4, Xbox One era. Like, isn't it crazy how the original Resident Evil 2 is one of the best games of that generation, and its remake was one of the best games of the now last generation. But it's just crazy how that kind of came to be. And similarly enough, even though RE3 Remake isn't a 1-to-1, like literally, it's almost kind of like it is a remake in style and plot, I guess, of the original. But it's not really a remake of some of the same areas,
right?
Like at all of RE3. But both of those games almost fit into the same category of like they're pretty good for what they are. They're not as good as RE2. They're worth a playthrough. They're worth a challenge run to have fun with it. But unfortunately, it's not in the same vein of the greatness of 2.
I agree. I would also like to see a full remake of 1 properly,
in the same style. Yes,
in the same style.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that would sell more than 2 and 3 combined.
I think so too, but
because that's a lot of our director's cut, first one I ever got. I was just like, what is this? And I remember investing in a lot of time.
I only own 3 copies of it on the PS1.
Yeah.
I only own the GameCube copy. I only own the PS3 copy. And I only own a digital copy on the PS4.
I'd like to see it redone this style.
Yes.
And I believe that it would be absolutely immaculate. 4 is a different style of play than 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different thing. So,
okay, so for a long time, I considered 4 to be good. I had a GameCube. It's not why I bought the GameCube, but it came out for it, and I enjoyed it. I'm like, all right, this is cool. This is reimagining the formula a little bit. At that point, did the style of the old Resident Evils kind of feel stale? After 4 games where you had 1, 2, 3 Code Veronica, okay, it did feel stale.
Yeah.
It needed something new, and that's what this was. It was new. It basically, you could compare it to the God of War remake that they came out with. It's not a remake, but it's kind of a reboot. It's got enough there that lets you know it's a God of War, but it's also feels different completely than the other ones. So it's okay. It's familiar enough, but it's treading on new water. And that alone can help refresh everything, and that's what 4 did at the time. But also what it did is that it paved the way for that kind of like getting away from its roots, more action-oriented entries like 5 and 6 and those sub-entries they had, to the point where they had to kind of reinvent the wheel again and kind of go back to their roots with 7, right? But okay, go ahead.
They kind of went back to the roots, but they kind of went a completely different direction from the roots.
Exactly.
Less enemies, more of the creep. And then with the new one that I can't say just came out, but came out, they went back to their roots in my feeling of like stage, because I feel like 7 was kind of like you're in the house, you have the house,
the family,
garage, the lab, the swamp area, and that was about it.
Oh, the shipwreck.
Yeah. But this had like more. I don't know. It felt different. It felt more like back to the roots. But I did really like Village. I thought it was very well done.
We will talk about that in just a second. So the RE4 remake is being built by the team that did the RE2 remake, and so they showcased it originally. They officially announced it at the PS State of Play. Then they showed more of it at the Capcom event, where they didn't show any combat, or they did just enough for you to know that you can aim and walk at the same time, but the camera angle and everything and the lighting is darker than the original game.
Yes,
to kind of make the spook factor a little bit more there. So if they can bring the spook factor and have the gameplay be a similar enough style to what they did with RE2 and RE3, but it's the RE4 story and a little bit more of the different, obviously people need to realize that Resident Evil isn't a zombie game. It's a bioweapon game, and zombies are a byproduct. So, but these little, the villagers, they have the parasite slowly walking at you with the pickaxe, or the dude with the chainsaw. Those are going to be like the enemies again. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that enemy type. And really, we saw kind of some of that with Village, with some of with the swords and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be kind of an interesting. Now's the time to do it, I guess, to cash in on it. It's funny. We're going to talk about this again in just a few minutes, but there's definitely a contingency online of this game still holds up. Why does it need to be remade? There's an argument to be made there, but if you don't want to play it, don't buy it. That's the easiest. Vote with your wallet. And I feel like enough people are going to buy this that they're going to be like, it was worth our time and development. But also, the voice actor, that guy that did Leon for RE2 remake, coming back for this one. So this coming out. Oh, RE4 remake comes out in March of next year. So, RE4 is Leon's story continued from 2. So it almost kind of feels like we're picking up with him a little bit sooner than what we originally did. So if you played RE2 remake, now you can go to RE4 remake, and it feels like you're carrying on with the same guy, and so that's going to be kind of neat. Village, they announced Village Gold, which has some DLC, which is like they have like a story something DLC, Shadow of Rose. They have more mercenaries. You can play as the big giant vampire, big chested woman, Lady. I can't say her name. I know it. They said it, and I can't say it.
I know it.
Let me say this. I have not played Village yet. I played the demo, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ordered Village today. I did.
The gold one?
No. Target's having a buy two, get one sale. And 2 of the games I got were for my son's birthday. Making sure he's not around.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's already busted that door. What'd you get me?
Yeah. Sure.
No, so I got a couple games for him, and originally a game for pre-order, not gold, was on the list, and when I went to go order it, it was no longer on the list. I think they removed it. So I was like, all right, I have to pick something else, and I scoured the list: Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. What do I want? A couple of contenders, but ultimately I'm like, you know what? Gold's coming out. I believe Village for PS5 was like $35 for the base entry, and I can probably do a gold add-on later, and then I'll still spend less money than if I were to just buy the gold. So yeah, that should be coming next week sometime, and that's going to be like a little shutdown run through. I'm excited to actually dive in and play it because I heard about it, and I kind of stayed away from spoilers for the most part. So I'm, kind of looking forward to playing it. But there's a big thing in Gold, Mike, that made me really cock my head. They're adding a third-person mode, a complete third-person mode with new animations and everything. It's completely playable. So literally, Village now turns into another RE2, 3, 4 style game, and I think that's awesome. They just do that. They should do that for 7, if it's possible.
I have a question. How much do you know about Village?
I don't know very much at all. In fact, what I probably did know more, but I've forgotten about it because I didn't play it. I heard about it. So,
see, do you know about the main character?
Ethan?
Yes.
I know who it is, and I know he has the ability to just like heal himself, like it's like Superman. So,
but you don't know why.
No, I don't know why. But I
okay, then never mind. Because it's gonna be interesting to see how they do that.
Mm-hmm.
That specific thing about Ethan will be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely, and as I said, I picked it up. I'm about at least a year late to the party for Village, but I'm playing it on the PS5 and I got it for $35, and I can't say like when I was looking at the choices of games that I had, and I was trying to keep the overall price similar to the other 2 games I got were like I got like $30, and even though I was actually going to pre-order a game that was $70, I'm now looking at like I almost got Tony Hawk 1 and 2 on the Switch. But
I got them and I barely played them because I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Dude, I don't like how big this controller is because I'm used to it being, these big and freaking D-pad. So I'm like trying to do the D-pad. So I'm like, oh man, I can't do the moves like I want to. So that was interesting. I played it for like 2 or 3 hours and I was like,
Maybe we'll have to do a swap where I let you borrow RE3 Remake and you let me borrow that.
I know I have
because
I can't let you borrow that because it's on digital. Remember, that was a digital sale.
Oh, it was a digital sale.
I texted you. I was like, it's on digital now.
Anyway, I still need to let you borrow RE3 Remake because you can download the PS5 version. You can put the disc in, download the PS5 version, and play it. Because the PS5 versions of RE7, RE2, and RE3 remakes are now available, and they rolled out. All you need is the PS4 disc. It'll ask you, do you want to upgrade this that copy? And download that, and all you need is the disc to play it. I'm pretty sure it's not tied to any sort of DRM disc, so I will do it first and then give it to you and see if it still works.
Okay.
Because I assume it's just like if I were to let you borrow the PS4 copy, that it would install, and you would just need the disc for DRM. So that's I assume it's the exact same deal. But the updates did roll out on PC, and they have since pushed out the older ones again because there was some complication because the updates had ray tracing. They had some updates to the graphics to put them up to 4K and higher frame rate. And that made the pull on the systems, the requirements went up for people who had already had these games and had been playing them, and it also messed with some mods. So the PC player base said, "Hey, can you put the other ones back up?" And Capcom's like, "Yeah, dog, we got you." So good on them. That's awesome. I guess that's about it for Capcom. Sony also had some VR support for VR2, a new Horizon game coming out. Village is getting VR support. There's going to be a Village VR2 coming out. VR2.
Have you looked at the quality of those?
Of the VR2? Okay.
Yeah, I have not.
No, but I remember when it first came out, or when they first were talking about the VR2. PSVR2 specs. I'm going to talk about the specs right here. So the resolution is 2000 by 2040 per eye. So near 4K in each eye. The display is OLED HDR. It runs at a 90 to 120 or 120 hertz refresh rate, and it has an expanded view of I think PSVR had 90. This is now 110 degree view. So in every way, shape, and possible, it isn't. And they also have the new kind of Oculus style PlayStation controller ones that they're doing. Yeah. So we're gonna have some of that as well. Hopefully it's good. But as far as Sony goes, there wasn't much else. Oh, FF16 was actually on the Sony one.
Yes.
We got our first expanded trailer for FF16. It's been a long time. We had like a big drought since we've seen anything from this game.
Yes.
What did you think of this, about them, how they're working the summons into the overall story? Because it's not, as it turns out, it's not just this kid. The summons are like at the forefront of the entire story.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I hope that it's not like Zero, where when you summon them, it kind of wonks everything out. So I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what to expect with that game. I just.
Will we know enough off the base game, or are we going to have to watch the
yeah.
movie first? This is a callback on this show. Go back in the early days. We're talking episode 16 or something. I don't know the actual episode number, but it's there. The title is Watch the Movie First, because you told me.
I still haven't finished that game yet.
I have actually not finished it myself, but I've watched somebody else play it and finish it. I like the story of the game overall. Once you get everything, I do enjoy this. I think it's a pretty neat little story, considering that the whole concept is about those four characters and like their bond, right? I like that idea. That's awesome. It makes 15 set apart from some of the other ones, where you have like 9 party members and each have a big long sprawling story. This one not so much. It's more tight knit, and that's okay. I'm down. 16 next summer. I was not ready to see that. I was expecting longer. Yeah, and of course 16 is PlayStation exclusive. Starting off,
I'm a little surprised that I don't know how long the time is, though.
I don't know either, considering they said 7 Remake was a year, and it was actually a bit longer than that. And that may not all be because of timing. That could have been because of development.
I feel like they had a little bit of issues with PC.
I feel like they had some issues. I also feel like at the same time they were upgrading to the PC version was going to be the upgraded PS5 version, which also had the integrated DLC. And I don't feel like they wanted to. If they're going to put it out, they were going to put out that version, and I feel like they had some issues with it. But we're going to touch on that in a little bit. That's going to be our closer. This next piece is Sony. It was not on the State of Play. It was the first thing revealed at the Summer Games Fest. The only thing, other than the Turtles thing at the Summer Games Fest, that I cared about. It leaked out 2 hours or something before Summer Game Fest even showed it. For which Jeff Keighley, from the guy who put that on in the Game Awards, just commented on it with a shrug. Like, oh well. The Last of Us Part 1. Coming out September 2nd. I believe it's September 2nd. This year. This is a from-the-ground-up remake of The Last of Us with assets that they have created for The Last of Us Part 2. It's in terms of character models, in terms of assets for levels, completely rebuilt with their new engine, which I assume is based off the old engine, so it doesn't take... That's one reason why the development time here is 2 years. Is that one? The first game is already done. All the cutscenes are the same. They're the same cutscenes that we've already have. They've just transposed them. They've done more work on facial animations. I don't know how much you've seen of this, other than maybe this game, as I said about the RE4 remake, the online crowd is divided. Ever since The Last of Us Part 2, the online crowd has been divided about Last of Us. There are people who absolutely hate what they did to the franchise, and everything new that comes out about it is just an argument. If you like it, you're an idiot. If you hate it, you're a loser. Just enjoy it. I think just enjoy it, because if it ain't for you, move on.
So some of the reasons why. in my opinion, are pretty stupid.
I agree. No, I agree.
It's like 100%. Majority of them, it's over the 1 to 2 events, which technically we got the 1 in the DLC for part 1.
So
But
the complaints about The Last of Us Part 1 that I've seen, Ellie looks too old now. Her model looks older. And Tess looks older and less attractive.
I mean, she's supposed to be around Joel's age anyways. You know, like...
If I can remember, before we get off here, I want to show you, Naughty Dog shared like a little short clip. And it's the scene of Tess looking at Joel walk away. We hear them walking away. And it's after she's bit, and she's going to hold the ground for them to get away. And it's her like looking at him leaving, and taking a deep breath to then, all right, this is my fate. They've captured so much emotion with the new PS5 version. And with the same kind of mechanics they use for part 2 to capture better facial animation. It just hits so much harder because, yeah, like The Last of Us is supposed to be a very emotional ride. The first game is, and second game, my God. Second game, my God. That game is almost gut-wrenchingly long because of how much it can take out of you if you keep playing it. Like, it's dark. Yeah. It's dark. And but
it's set in dark times of what could potentially be a history, like
a little bit contentious with Last of Us Part 1 is that it's being released at full price, $70 for the PS5. Some people are saying it's a little too much.
I feel like if you're using the assets you already have, they've already created that. I mean, I get it, but I would be willing to pay the $100 if you double down. Double down. I don't want a part 1 and part 2. I want the Last of Us series.
The collection.
Collection.
I think shortly after part 1, we are going to see a PS5 version for part 2 come out, because I am calling it near the end of the PS5. We're getting part 3.
You think so?
I think. Okay, so here's what I know. I don't know much, but I do know that Neil Druckmann, the guy who wrote and directed part 1 and part 2, but part 2 he teamed up with a gal. I don't remember her name, so please don't crucify me. But they teamed up and wrote part 2. They met up and they have a script outline. They don't have a script. They have an outline of a story they want to do if they do a part 3.
Is that the coffee shop meeting?
Yes. They sat down and they basically sat there for a couple hours. Where would the story go from here? And they have that. Now, the other thing that they did talk about and announce, they didn't show anything about it other than like a screenshot or two. The Last of Us multiplayer game, Factions, is going to be its own standalone game, set in San Francisco, I think. And it's going to have its own story. And it's going to be, they're claiming this online game is going to be as big as the other games that they've made. We'll see about that. But they're trying to expand with what they can do in that world. And I think if they're doing this game, if they're doing the television show, which just wrapped last week, by the way.
I saw the pictures. You sent me the picture of the, Joel and Ellie stop listening. Joel doing his listening
with
thing.
with that clicker in the background.
The clicker in the background. And I've seen the pictures of Tess. What she looks like. Looks good. Older, yet again. Yeah. But she's not supposed to be in her, early 30s. She's supposed to be, late 40s, mid 50s, like somewhere in that
Somewhere
region.
In the 40s, 50s, at least like mid 40s.
Yeah, at least mid 40s to, maybe early 50s, somewhere around there in that region. That's where she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be there remembering what it was like before. Very vividly.
If they're doing the new game, if they're doing the Part 1 remake to base. I guarantee a Part 2 PS5 version is coming. And I think by the time the PS5 wraps up, and granted, that's another 5, 6, 7 years down the road
Possibly.
from now.
Possibly. We don't know.
We don't know, but I think for the life cycle of the console, I feel like it could possibly be delayed a little bit with the pandemic and when it released versus how many people have them. Sony's saying 20 million copies sold, or PS5 sold. More and more people have them now, despite how hard they are to get. They're getting a little easier to get if you know how to do it. You all right over there? Yeah.
It was just the.
Yep, I heard it. But we moving on here. Last of Us Part 1, that was the game I tried to get on 2 for 1. Because I told myself originally, I don't need it day one. I'll wait till Christmas. That'll be one of the Christmas games I get. Every year I get a couple games for Christmas. I'll just get that one then, Like, yeah, that sounds good. And then I saw it, and it said 2 for 1, and I'm like, ooh, that's in there? I might have to get it. Then when I went to, I didn't order it, and I probably should have, but I didn't do it yet. And now I can't do it, so I had to get something else. But I saw what it looked like, and it was like, Last of Us, I might have to sit down and rethink what my top 5 games are, what my top 10 games are.
You think it's in there?
If it's not top 5, it's close for Last of Us 1. So if it's not top 5, it's close. Could Snake Eater be edged out? Could the argument be made? Yeah, I think maybe so. But I don't know. I mean, because times change. Times change, and you look back on it a little bit differently. I replayed Snake Eater last year. I replayed Snake Eater, and then I played Peace Walker, and then I played 5. I played the Big Boss
segment,
series, and it's good. Snake Eater's really good. It's amazing. But we've kind of moved into a different level of storytelling since then.
Mm-hmm. Really have.
So, do you have anything to add before we go into the Xbox section?
No.
Because we just talked about Metal Gear, and Xbox, they announced they're working on a game with Kojima.
Yeah, and we all know what Kojima told us what it was. But you got to go through and listen to his freaking cryptic messages, that freaking psycho.
Well, what's interesting is even going as far back as like maybe a year or two ago, if you look at Phil Spencer's like pandemic era little update videos or him calling in the background, it was a figure of the Kojima Productions thing.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, just like Spencer had like the Series S on his bookshelf like a whole year before it like they even really announced it or whatever, or like showed what it was. So it's like, you know what? It's probably something that they didn't announce what it is per se. He just said it's cloud technology. I know Kojima likes the new stuff and push boundaries and to do stuff with games. Death Stranding is a really weird game, but the one thing that they experimented with was social interaction in a single player game. So if you're walking through in Death Stranding and you need to get past somewhere, somebody could have left you a ladder or a bridge to get over that. Somebody else playing on the same server, you can't see them, they can't see you, but they left it for you, and then you can leave like likes on that thing for them, and then they will get something, and they'll get notifications that you like them, or that you can leave a comment or like a little emoji, or if someone's near you. You can't see them, but you might get it like your controller will start vibrating if someone's near, and you'll holler, "Hey!" and then they can actually hear you, and then you can holler back to them. And it's funny because that's Norman Reedus going, "My name is Sam." And the other guy's like, "Me too." So ridiculous, but it was something new. They were experimenting with something different. And that's what Kojima likes to do. He doesn't want to keep making.
He does.
He gets bored when you. I can only imagine if someone's like, "Can you just make like an old school Metal Gear game?" And he'd be like, "Why? I've done that."
Yeah.
What's next is what we want to know.
And that's the thing is like, so he's probably not going to do another Metal Gear.
Probably not.
But if you listen to him, he said it's something that he's really wanted to do a long time now. He's really wanted to go to this specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things like he's been thinking about it. I wonder how many people went back and like went through every single interview, everything he's ever said, and been like, "Well, what do you think it is?" Somebody asked.
So a short time ago, PlayStation put up like a screenshot of their PlayStation family, which something that we didn't talk about here on the show because we weren't making content. No. But Xbox buying Activision, Sony buying Bungie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they made this big, hey, welcome to the family Bungie, and Destiny is a part of the PlayStation family. They put up a picture of Norman Reedus. So apparently Sony bought Norman Reedus, put him in the closet somewhere. He's like, yeah, we own you now. I'm like, okay. but people are like, are they buying Kojima Productions? So everyone was like, oh my God, they're going to buy Kojima Productions. Literally, it got enough traction within one day on Twitter. Kojima actually had to come out and say, we are completely independent, but we love our partners at PlayStation. Why did he come out and say that? Because obviously they are working on something for Xbox. Mm-hmm. Now, there was a rumor of that for a long time that they were teaming up with Xbox, nothing for sure. Now we know there is. But literally all we got was a video of like Kojima-san, hello, I am excited to talk to you. I'm working on a game. Can't tell you what it is. Can't tell you what it's about. But we're doing something. And then they're like, yay, Kojima. And we moved on.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, they're pushing Game Pass. This wasn't a part of their showcase, but did you see that Game Pass Xbox app is now on Samsung televisions? They just released it either at the beginning of the month or late last month, where if you have a Samsung TV, which I no longer have, it sucks because that TV went kaput. But
I wonder if it'll be on Vizio.
Probably not. Knowing Vizio and knowing how well those
Vizio,
apps are on there.
Vizio is an offshoot of Samsung.
Look.
You know I'm right. It's got the same stuff inside it.
But it don't work as good, is what I'm trying to say.
Whoa.
Hold on.
I love my Vizio. I've had nothing but Vizios, and they've lasted forever.
I hope they do last, but let me just say, I'm getting a little annoyed at the apps and how they run on Vizio. They run like dog crap.
But I don't use the apps, so I don't give a shit about the apps.
You need to use the apps because I'm
out there. I got this PS5 here that somebody got for me.
I don't want to turn the PS5 on if I don't have to, and it might break. It might not. I don't want to. But I'm sitting there watching HBO, and it all of a sudden goes to like, hey, do you want to watch the next episode? Yes, and it just goes to snow, and I have to reboot the whole TV in order to get because if I just go back to the main menu, no other app will load.
That's fair.
It's finicky. So until they can figure out their internal app situation, I don't know. But Game Pass is on Samsung. If you have Game Pass, you can stream directly to Samsung TVs and have a Bluetooth controller, and it will connect, I guess. So we both know that that's their end goal. They want to be on all the TVs. They want to be everywhere. They want to be the Netflix of gaming.
I will say this. This one probably won't work because it really works on my freaking PC. And for those that don't know, this is the Elite 2 that we all know has Bluetooth connectivity problems with Windows for some reason. Even though you freaking designed it, you can't use it wirelessly. You have to plug it in.
Okay, so
for majority of us,
this is episode 172, right? 172 episodes. Me and Mike, when we're together, we usually have some sort of like softball argument where we talk about console PC. Hey,
I'll be right back.
He's gonna leave while I'm gonna talk about our argument. But essentially, Mike's a PC gamer. I am not. And I don't like to. I feel like when I try to do PC gaming, I end up messing with them too much to get them just right, and then I don't end up playing the damn game. However, if I just plug it in and play, I don't worry about it. I just play. I feel like if you give me too much control, I do too much with it. But Mike's like, well, just plug your laptop into your TV and play. And so I did. I played FF9 with mods, with the Moguri mod, and it looked fantastic. It was awesome and one of the best experiences of FF9 I've ever played, except playing with an Xbox controller. I had to delete the controller and repair it every time it would turn off. If the controller timed out, basically after 10 minutes. Unfortunately, I am now the kind of gamer that I have to stop. If I'm playing in the living room, I have to stop. I have to help. I have to dad. I have to parent. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to heat up chicken nuggets. I have to move a chair. I have to dig a booger out. Whatever. I have to wipe an ass. Whatever I'm doing, occasionally I have to stop, and sometimes I get pulled into something else, and that quick break turns into like a 20-30 minute break, and then I sit back down, and then the controller won't reconnect to the damn PC. I have to then use the keyboard to save on FF9, which, if you know FF9, you can't just save anywhere. I got saved by the autosave feature that's on PC more than once. Close the game, delete the Bluetooth data for my controller, reconnect it from start all over again, then it works. That's why.
So odd.
That is, and just like you said, I don't even know where it is because I'd probably throw it anyway. No, mine ain't no Elite, but it's the Xbox controller. Okay.
See, Joanna hasn't had a problem with hers. We play Grounded like all the time.
Well, she's grounded. Anyway, wasn't there something about Grounded you wanted to say? We just throw it in here.
Oh, is it September?
Did they announce
11th?
something for it?
They're going to launch the 1.0.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Its official release date.
Yep.
I think it's September 11th.
Coming to Game Pass?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's a good, fun little game. I love it. And they're actually going to have a full story, and you're going to be able to leave the arc. And they're going to add in the rest of the game. I'm excited to see it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
That's that one where it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yep.
Okay.
It is. It's Arc. It's Arc. It makes basically it's Arc. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
There you go. Persona 4, or 3, 4, and 5 coming to Xbox Game Pass, PC, and PS5.
Yep.
And I guess 3 and 4 are coming to PS4 as well. So from what I understand, I don't know how much work they're doing to 3 and 4, other than a port. I think those are just ports.
It didn't look any better.
Because those are Persona 3. It's specifically Persona 3 Portable from the PSP, which comes with some extra stuff.
Yep.
It's Persona 4 Golden from the Vita, which comes with extra stuff, and it's Persona 5 Royale, which comes with extra stuff. So. But I'm excited for the Persona fans because there's people with Xboxes or PCs that haven't had a chance to play some of these games. They've heard about them, and now they can kind of sink their teeth into some quirky Japanesey games that are really cool, old school turn-based RPGs. I mean, at their heart, like you and I are both big fan of old school RPGs, and I like to see the genre continue.
I'm a little surprised that it's coming to Microsoft.
I am too, because I was
that's
kind of
surprising.
Well, okay, maybe I shouldn't be because Xbox has been working pretty close with Sega. Sega bought Atlas, so
yeah.
So like they've been working on this for a long time. Of course, there's Persona has been kind of tied in a sense to the kind of the PlayStation brand for a long time. So pretty cool.
That's why I said it's a surprise.
There were rumors at one point that Microsoft was looking to buy Sega, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say it because I didn't think Activision thing would ever happen. So,
Well, when when you get yourself in as much trouble as freaking Activision has.
Well,
And we'll touch on that later, a little SOB. So anyway, yeah.
Well, I mean, we could touch on it now. They showed Diablo 4.
So
do you want to start with Diablo 4, or do you want to start with your?
We can go with Diablo 4.
Okay.
I'm excited. It looks good. It's a Diablo game on the PC. Thank God. Don't get me wrong. One of the things that I really like about the Immortals, I've been playing the Immortals only on my phone because they won't, for some reason, let me play on that. Could be that I sent them a really shitty message when I put WoW. But it's fun, but Immortals is 100% pay to win. There have been guys go up there and do the full math on like how much it would cost you to basically you get a green item, and to unlock its full potential, you have to pay to unlock that second ability. So it's a legendary until you pay to make it a set gear. And it's like, why? But they added a lot of good stuff, which they said in the announcement. Well, not announcement, but their trailer, that they're going to take some of the stuff with Immortals, like being able to take the essence of a legendary item and place it into a new legendary item so that you don't lose. That's one of my number one things I hate about 3 is that I had like 4 items that were so good together, but I don't want to get rid of them because if you get rid of one, they don't work in unison anymore. But it's annoying that we don't have a new Diablo on the PC that's actually a PC game that you can play and have a good time with, that you have to spend stupid microtransactions with.
It's funny.
I know it's part of it now, but it drives me absolutely insane that I can't enjoy the game on my own.
I wish, maybe for some of these future podcasts, we could try to get, see if we can try to find a good time to link in Will.
Foreshadowing. Oh, yeah.
Because I would love to just see him stare at you. Because
Who?
Will.
Oh.
Will. Because Will's our friend, from work. And, you had mentioned that the only game that you had been playing lately is Diablo Immortal. And the other day, he looked at me and said, "That scrub playing Diablo Immortal? Have you looked into that?" I'm like, other than when they announced it and we talked about it on the podcast, not really.
Goodbye, whatever that was.
My hats attacked me. I have my hats on top of my microphone stand, and
I just now realized that they were gone. So
yeah.
I knew something fell, but I wasn't looking there. I was looking at you.
Well, Will was talking about the pay to win stuff, the microtransactions, full of microtransactions.
It is nothing
and
but
so,
microtransactions.
Yeah, in some aspects for some games dude, that's where we've come to in gaming. Because there's so much money to be made that they figure why not.
There's a few things that I do like about like Apex and the Fortnite, that you're not paying to win, you're paying for skins. You're paying
dances,
dances, cosmetic stuff. You're also paying for like a chance at the web slingers, because those you do have to get, and it just drives me nuts. Like, I can't play the game to the full potential of the game without buying something.
Yeah.
And then when you look at, let's say, the season pass, it does not. It gives you stuff, but it doesn't give you enough stuff. It's all cosmetic. But then, I'm fine with that. Season pass is fine. You get the extra rolls, extra gems. It's fine. But can't. It's like the gem drop rate is ridiculously low. All that stuff is so low. Like, you can't get it unless you go buy a legendary Rift crest. That's the only way to really get a good one. It's like, I love the dungeon crawler games, and it's like, well, I guess I'll just wait for PoE 2 to come out. For those that don't know, Path of Exile 2.
I was a bit surprised. So to see officially Diablo 4, like
I was not, because they've already been announcing it. So that's been kind of going on for a while. But 5 characters, uh, they're the same characters. They don't really add anything new anymore. I did see that some of the characters were using other weapons that they traditionally wouldn't use. I'm wondering if they have more of a Diablo 3 talent or Diablo 2 talent tree system where you can kind of, you have the Amazon, which, you could go more into the javelin or the spears, the javelins versus, bow or whatever. So it's like, but you're limited to the 5 again. It's 7. It's Blizzard, specifically Blizzard. I haven't really been following Activision or dealing with them anymore. So, but it's mainly Blizzard that's kind of been failing. And I love all the original Blizzard stuff. I mean, World of Warcraft, the original Diablo 2 is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like they're just cash grabbing. I still haven't bought Diablo 2 Resurrection. Surprisingly.
Well,
so there's my rant.
Well,
gotta have at least one rant from Mike.
Well, it is just sad because, you want companies to do good. You want them to be redeemed, or if they mess up, like I'm rooting for BioWare with Dragon Age.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of info about the next Dragon Age, Wolf's Bane or something like that, whatever it's called. Wolf's Bane, Wolfsborn. Forgive me if I'm butchering that name, but we're getting just a little bit of information about it. They need, they need to redeem themselves. And you know what's funny? The release last year with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which I have the helmet.
Yeah.
Dude, just today I saw that the Andromeda version of this, which is basically just no red, it's black and white.
Right.
Normally $150 for just the helmet on BioWare Shop, as today was just $15.
And you're like,
I don't need
I don't need it.
I don't need another one. But how I mean that's my, just like you and your Fallout helmet. I got my N7 helmet now.
I still don't have that out. I put it up.
Yeah.
Team. We're gonna talk. You want to segue into that?
Well, we will in just a second, because Forza 8, Forza Motorsport, kind of thought this was going to be coming sooner or later, because they made two Horizon games in a row, which is not something they normally do. So now it's the next one, and of course it's after the next big Gran Turismo, which you've played and big into that. So
there's a steering wheel over there that I purchased for it, and I haven't actually used that much.
Well,
because I don't have time to sit, and you got to retrain yourself, because it's not like sitting in cars, sitting in your chair, and nothing's the way you want it.
Yeah. So
you got to adjust everything. 20 minutes to adjust it the way you want it. I just don't have a cockpit section set up, because that's a lot of money.
Forza games have been bringing it for a little while. Gran Turismo has been the one trying to catch up, and it seems like they finally have. Based off of what you have seen, because I'm not a big guy that's super into them, what did you think of the reveal of Forza 8? Was it par for the course? I thought it looked sexy. It looked beautiful.
I'm gonna say this, and those can say what they want. Anymore, it's a game of graphics. Well, when you get up into these racing games, a lot of the fundamentals have been set. Biggest complaint about some of the stuff with Gran Turismo is they don't have impact detection. It's just impact. You can literally drive, and there's specific thing on the Tokyo where you come out of this one, and almost every driver will initially in a 100 lap race will kind of graze that. You hit that, it's like 15-minute freaking. Actually, it's 5 seconds. That actually turns into 10 seconds, where it slows you down. One of the good things about Forza is that you have to rewind. So as you drive, you can rewind. You have to restart the whole race, which I don't really care either way. But when you're in a 300-lap race, whatever, it's really going to determine like how the cars handle. Are they true to their word? There's some that people are like, it's kind of awkward in Gran Turismo 7. Like, I feel like this is too good or whatever. It's the balance game. There'll always be there, but one of the things I always look forward to with Forza.
Did they have a
is
release?
The Vistas.
Oh, Vistas, yeah.
Those are pretty because you're not. When are you going to see one of the 20 Reventons that are? There's only 20, and same freaking person owns every one of them almost. Yeah. So it's like you'll never see those in real life. But the guy's nice enough to say, "Hey, here it is. Go ahead and look through it. You can do all the camera stuff on it." It's like, oh, you get to see it. It's such a legendary car. There's only a handful in the world. You actually get to see it. That's one of the things I really like. I actually spend more time on that. Obviously, I play the game up to a certain point, but I always watch and look at the vistas.
Did they give a release window? I didn't see it. Because I didn't see it.
I don't think they did.
Because I didn't think it was coming this year.
Spring of 2023.
Okay. All right. So sometime March, April next year.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe May. They could push it into May. Still get away with saying a spring.
Right.
But something else that did get pushed in the next year, and we were talking about companies redeeming themselves. Starfield. We got to see Starfield gameplay extensively. We mentioned Fallout 76. Here on the show, we did an episode where you unboxed your Fallout 76 Collector's Edition and put the helmet on.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Now, for those out there, I loved what I got in the box, not the game. I just want to make that very clear. I heard it's redeemed itself. I can't believe it's still running. But hey, I've heard it's a lot better. It's more of a Fallout experience and not a wasteland.
So, I mean, that's good because Anthem is dead and gone.
Yeah.
It has literally just been shut down.
That's the greatest Iron Man game of all time.
I know.
With no story.
Yeah. Which is crazy considering it's coming from a company much like Bethesda that's full of lore and story. So, Starfield, here's what I thought about Starfield. I thought it was part Fallout, part Outer Worlds, and part No Man's Sky. And I liked what I saw for the most part. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it because the only way for me to be able to play it and get the right amount that I would want out of it is to get a Series X. Because if I stream it, it's not going to be the same. I have tried when they did the beta for their stream, Forza Horizon 4 worked flawlessly. I was very surprised. I had no slowdown, no nothing. It was almost like I was playing it on my console. Halo Reach stuttered and had frame rate drops, which was a 360 game, which is hilarious.
That's due to their integration into the system.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe if it's flawless and people tell me it's flawless, I might subscribe to Game Pass to stream it. However, I don't plan on buying an Xbox anytime soon.
So, my biggest question is so I obviously do not have an Xbox, but I have Game Pass Ultimate on my PC.
Yeah.
Which is where I get all of what I want. Is it coming to that? Because when you do get Ultimate, you do get console games.
Yeah.
So it said console exclusive. Exactly what are you telling me here? That if I have to buy an X, I probably won't play it.
So we do have some. It is coming to PC.
Okay, then I'm fine. Then I can say all the stuff I want to say about it. If I couldn't play it, if I had to buy a system, I'd be like, yeah.
Here are the system requirements. 16 gigs of memory. NVIDIA 2070.
Is that the minimum requirement or the recommended?
That was just in Google. Let me go in here.
There's a big difference.
Okay, that is recommended.
Okay.
A minimum is a 1060.
A minimum is it? For a second, I'm like 1060. I have a 2060, so I'm okay.
Okay, so it's recommended 2070. So, and then what's your CPU?
I want to say that's a 9.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. When you
it's
made
an
it.
i7. It's an i7 9th generation.
Okay, so this is recommended i7 6700. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm way.
Yeah. So I mean, you should be able to play it. Okay. Your graphics card might be just right under what it's recommended at. So like, probably if you ran it at 2K, you'd probably be fine. Which is
I'm looking that up now.
Which is
it's an 8700K. I have an i7 8700K.
Okay, so you're good. You'd be able to run it and have a good experience.
And I've got the 87K overclocked.
Right.
So
yeah, you'd be able to play it just fine. For me, I can't. The only way that I'd be able to play it is if I streamed it, because I don't know when I'm gonna get an Xbox. I'm not in a hurry to get one. There's just nothing out for that over there that I'm anxious to play. Starfield, they did expand upon Starfield. They said you can't, not like No Man's Sky or Star Citizen, can you fly down. I didn't bring it up to rub salt, okay? I didn't bring it up.
Trying to show you what's there, but not there.
Yeah. From the deep parts of your heart, you know that I mean well. So because these games actually have this on Starfield, Starfield does not allow you to just fly into the planet and fly around. They have said that on the planet is one realm, in space is another realm.
But it did say that you can land anywhere on the planet. It didn't specify.
My bet is you get into orbit.
Designated.
Yes. Anywhere on the planet means there are designated spots for you to be able to touch down. I bet that's what that means. But you can fly the ship from planet to planet and engage in some combat, a la No Man's Sky.
I was extremely surprised by that.
I was too, considering everything.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, given everything we had heard before, saying it like. Basically, this game is not exactly what we had heard all those rumors years ago. Like when they were like, yeah, this game, you won't be able to do this or this or this. And we're like, well, then why is it in space? But it's seemingly to be a little bit more than what we wanted. You could build outposts. That's very Fallout-y. Fallout, yeah.
On each planet.
Yeah. So they said 1,000 planets to explore.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure that includes moons and all that stuff as well. I think it's
okay. So I think what people need to taper their expectations for what that means, just like you said. Thousands of planets. If we were go to 100 planets in the Milky Way, how many of those planets would be able to support life? Very minimal. So how many of these planets that you're going to go and explore are actually full-blown Earth-like planets where you can go and walk around and have cities? Probably not many. You're going to have empty. It's going to give you that feeling of being an astronaut, of an explorer on a rock looking for minerals. you're going to get that vibe out of it. So I would say don't expect to see a bunch of different big city hubs. I think they said there's 4 big cities in the game, with the main city they talked about was at New Atlantis or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of the biggest cities they've ever made in a game. But the game is coming out next year, and then they're also working on Elder Scrolls 6, and they did confirm the next Fallout's coming out after Elder Scrolls 6, which that made a lot of people very happy, but that also like, wow, I'm going to be like 50 years old by the time that game comes out.
No kidding.
So
I think we'll see it progress a little bit faster depending on how this engine works.
Probably.
Because they had to stop production and do a new engine. Yeah. Because they were making this on the Skyrim engine originally. And they realized that they can't use it anymore. We know Bethesda's not real great with their engines. Storytelling is like, probably one of the best. They did a little better with the Fallout. They updated it a little bit, but not much. Still had the exact same problems. I've read an article where they said that Starfield is turning heads in the game, literally like backwards heads. They're already spinning on the characters like exorcism style. So, I mean, that stuff. Thing is, it's like you expect that from Bethesda because it's like one of those things. It's like it's a glitch, but it doesn't actually hinder the game. It's just you're looking at it like the falling carriages.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen it. If you've ever played Skyrim, you know. If you've ever played Fallout, you get the little whatever the Bronhams, whatever the cows are that fall from the sky, the little carriage and stuff. It's like, come on, guys. But as long as it doesn't hinder the game, I'll laugh. And a lot of us, that like my wife is obviously a massive Skyrim fan. She just laughs or she takes a video of it. Like, look what I saw today. This is a new one.
I mean, stuff like that happens in like other big open world games, like Red Dead. I have this video. I think it's on Facebook somewhere, where I'm playing and you see this horse and carriage and this dude cross the street way up there. The thing that I'm doing, I'm like just taking off with this buggy and this dude's talking, and all of a sudden he gets past this building up there, and all of a sudden if you're paying attention up there in the corner, you just see, and they go flying up. And then they just crash back down, and then like nobody's even acting like anything's going on. Like that's the best part is that nobody sells it.
So you know what that reminds me of?
Huh.
That reminds me of Halo 2. Do you remember the corner glitches?
Mm-mm.
I played a lot of multiplayer. It's like my big multiplayer game was Halo. Yeah. And in Halo 2, you had certain corners that you could jump on, and they were basically launching pads. So you would jump and hit this one, and you would hit it, and it would bounce you, and then you had to land on the next one, and then it would skyrocket you. And a lot of the times, like you do tournaments, because I used to do a lot of tournaments with it, you would have somebody run and get it. You basically get your dude to run over, get the sniper rifle, run back, and then everybody would try to protect your really good sniper to get up there, because it was one of those things like everybody knew about it. So they weren't like, hey, can't do that. It was like, well, everybody knows it can be done, so we'll allow it. But
ultimately, what did you feel about Starfield after it was all said?
I was very surprised. New Atlantis looked good. Everything looked good. Let me just right out the gate. Holy crap, did it look good comparatively to anything they've released. Yeah. It looked absolutely phenomenal. New Atlantis looked amazing. The small segments you got. The space really surprised me that they're going to allow us to have space combat. It also scares me because, one, they're going to force you to do combat in space, obviously, for story missions. Two, how bad is it going to be? Because you're talking about a lot of people take a lot of iterations into a certain franchise before they get it right. Yeah. But they do now have the assets of Microsoft, and we've seen the flight simulator that looks absolutely phenomenal, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's like, yeah, if you like the flying sims, this is it. You don't get anything else. This is what you play.
At the bare minimum, even if they don't get access to be, if they can't get that to work within their system, they can at least study how it works and try to integrate it to what they have. And being, they are a separate entity within Microsoft, but that just means, like, to me, and maybe I'm off base here, them being owned by Microsoft isn't like butting in too much as far as like what they're doing. But Microsoft probably allows them to not worry so much about revenue, to have more money to be able to do what they need to do. And
the biggest thing is they have those assets in house.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to pay the money to go out and well, we got to recreate this to make this work with this. It's, hey, call up Todd Howard and be like, hey man, like Todd's talking. He's like, hey man, can I get one of those guys down here to help me kind of get this going? Yeah, boom, there it is, done.
Well, and it's just back. It's back to when Bethesda really started cranking out Doom and Wolfenstein, and then how the main Bethesda team talked with them to how do we improve the gunplay for Fallout 4?
Yep.
Was it Doom or Wolfenstein? Not quite. But was it better than what it was in Fallout 3? Yes. By far. Yeah. So
that's one of the reasons why I don't play 3, is because it's so hard for me to get past it, because being a shooter guy, I feel like there's certain elements that need to be there that they're not. Like this. Here it is. Look down the sights.
Yeah.
What is that? This is looking that, or this is not. But you still have your field of view.
Yep. I mean, but it definitely improved. So, like, I was also pretty surprised at everything that I saw. And that's just it. I'm excited to play it, but I'm also very aware that there's no real way for me to play it unless I buy a console. And unless I team up with you and we start making total bank and doing what we're going to be doing and making some monies, I cannot in any way, shape, or form justify that. There's too many more things that me and my family need and want. Like, literally, had I had known how much of a hard struggle last year was going to be for me and my family, I would not have bought the PS5 when I did. I did it. I bought it. I got one. Early enough, like just a few months in, I was so happy.
Yeah, you did.
And literally within a month after I got it, the struggle started. And then it didn't get real bad until a few months later. And then the struggles really started. And I felt guilty about it. I felt guilty as hell. And so if none of this world stuff was happening and we were just having no sort of issues, maybe it would be different. Maybe around Christmas time would be the time where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to get an Xbox. But I felt guilty as hell today buying something for myself. I bought a couple of vinyls for myself today, Mike. I treated myself. I can't tell you. I think the last time I treated myself was tax time.
I'm trying to let the wife. We need a new TV. We're getting burnt out. There's another thing I want to talk about. It's very brief later on.
Yeah.
But the PS5 is getting ready to go downstairs for certain reasons, or for certain games that are coming out that I will lose this and for like the next 5 years. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Swish and flick.
But yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to get her to do it, but I feel you. It's like I'm working so much right now. And once you come in, that's going to go away because we'll be sharing it.
Yeah. Well, maybe at some other point we can talk and we can start comparing models of TV and prices of TV based, because you don't need the absolute best to get the best out of the PS5.
I have looked and I have an idea what I want, and it's about It's about as much as we're going to get on the 24th.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But talking her into it is a whole other problem.
Okay, so yeah, yeah, because
money and everything, the uncertainty in the world right now is hurting us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I sold a crap ton of the gaming collection. You see some stuff I have here. I did this whole shelf. My PlayStation 1's shelf used to be the full shelf, and then down here, it doesn't even go two across anymore.
It's wild.
I sold all but 6 GameCube games.
Yeah, I'm looking at reducing mine significantly.
Well, I mean, and it was like it wasn't a matter of like I wanted to, I had to. And so I had to take advantage of the higher market. There obviously there's some stuff I haven't gotten rid of.
That's not going anywhere.
Okay. I mean, if I need to feed the kids, then there's no question. All this stuff is just stuff. The cool thing is that a lot of the stuff that I did buy, I bought when it was low, kind of like stocks, and I sold it when it was a little bit higher.
It's that green PSP is itching.
Yeah.
For me, because that's like it's almost $200, and I bought it for what we bought. You got that for me. You didn't get it. You snagged it.
I don't know if I showed you this, but I bought this. I at Christmas time last year as a gift to myself. It's Vita with a case, right? It's got a little grip on it, because it's got R2 little things on it, and it's black on the front and red on the back. This is the Japanese Vita.
Yeah, the red is what I'm staring at because I've got the aqua blue.
I could have got a full orange one. Yeah, but the orange one was a tad bit more expensive. Here, I got it out of it. So, screen's on. So there's the front.
It looks good.
There's the back.
I just don't play mine enough.
Well, I don't mind saying this, but I might have done something to this that...
Oh, you did?
Might have done something to it that I didn't want to do to my original.
Did you use the cartridge or internal? Because there's a cartridge way to do it.
It's an adapter. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it off air. I'll talk about it off air.
I know. I already know you got. Yeah.
All right. So, Starfield was really cool. I don't know if I'm going to get a console. We'll see how much we make. Maybe around Christmas time. Maybe I'll have enough. I might be able to treat myself to a little bit of a couple $100 console.
Because console is definitely your cheaper route.
But, yes, but also for me, if I were to get I would sell my other one and try to make up a little bit of that cost.
Oh, yeah.
Because literally the Xbox for me, I like Xbox. I've got Xbox 360, Xbox One games back there. I got my OG games down here. I enjoy Xbox, but it's not my PlayStation's my gang, man. That the blue side is where I hang out. That's my gang. That's where I live. But I'm not against the Xbox guys. They got, with all their stuff that they've bought that's coming to Game Pass, it's worth it to kind of keep up on it. But it's also if anytime there's a new generation or like new PS5 or PS6, new Xbox, I can guarantee you which one that I'm going to go to first. And then if there's a new Nintendo, I'll probably get that one before I got the Xbox. But I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer, and I'm not a PC gamer, so a lot of the stuff I just can't get all in one place. And so there's another thing that I don't like about PC gaming. My sciatic nerve. This is a gaming chair. It's comfortable. No chair have I found makes sitting enough to have a good posture to play games. My back and sciatic nerve, once I started hitting like 31, decided to hate my life. And so that is another reason why it's a console life for me. Anyway,
that's why I got this one.
Yeah,
it's upside down. Anyways, that's why I spent the money for this, because I actually no longer have a TV to play on. I play everything on this monitor.
So I moved the game room TV right here. So this is my bedroom. The game room TV's here. My whole setup is tucked into a corner. I have the PS4 hooked up to it. I have a splitter. The Xbox is actually over here. I have the Wii U. I had the Wii U in here, but now that's out there in the living room because Wyatt plays it some. But I've got a little setup. I can play some games in here, but I don't want to move stuff around. PS3's down there too. I can hook that up.
How about that new emulator?
Well, you know what? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's about time they found something to work.
Right. So yeah, Xbox got some cool stuff coming out. That's just the bare minimum of stuff that we covered from them because they had like over an hour showcase.
A lot of it was little indie
smaller
games.
Stuff.
There's was that Red? What did I say it was?
Redfall. Yeah.
Redfall looks kind of interesting, but it definitely reminds me of the Borderlands game.
Mm-hmm.
Like loot shoot.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna check it out on our pre-betting. I'm probably gonna check it out if it does any beta.
Yeah.
Outside of that, unless it's really good, I don't think I will be looking at it.
Mike, as we record this on Friday the 17th, there was a stream on the 16th. It was the 25th anniversary Final Fantasy VII stream. This was
we're going to that.
This was a Square stream dedicated to Final Fantasy VII. Mm-hmm. There were some rumors going in and what people expected. There were some things I said would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so at first we saw that the remake, FF7 remake and Integrate's coming to Steam. And it's on Steam as of today.
Cool. It's awesome.
That's awesome. People who love Steam, that's where it is. It's no longer Epic Games exclusive, and also it's compatible with Steam Deck for those that have that. You can take.
I heard that's anywho. Yeah.
Some people are into it, and that if it works for you, awesome.
If you can get it to work on there, awesome.
Yeah, awesome. As I said, there's a reason why I don't PC game, and that's because I tinker way too much instead of letting it do its thing. I can play some old games. Dude, I got an N64 emulator working on here, and I did nothing but play old N64 wrestling games. There's an N64 wrestling game hack that somebody did, a full-blown hack. And I sat here and played the hell out of it for like over Christmas shutdown. I absolutely loved it and was just tickled. Anyways. But you know what I had to do to that? I worked on that while I was doing another project. While I was waiting on stuff for that, I was sitting here anyway, and so like I had to tinker. So we got.
We'll talk about that off here.
Fair. Questions. Remake on Steam, Integrate on Steam Deck. Then we got the next season of the First Soldier of the phone game. Okay, it's there. I'm not playing it. It's not my thing. If you like it, you're playing it. If you're up on it.
I haven't even tried it.
I have not even either.
Honestly, I didn't even know it was there until they said it, and I was like, oh, cool.
I knew it was a thing, but it's not my thing. And, it's just like Austin Powers, not my bag, baby,
Not my bag, baby.
But then they actually showed a little bit more of Ever Crisis, the other phone game, where it's a RPG, and they're doing like episodic remakes. So what this is that this is another style of remake. It reminds me a little bit of do you remember the FF15 Pocket Edition?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But this is an FF7, so all the overworld stuff looks like a newer mod of the old stuff. But they're also throwing in stuff from Crisis Core. There's going to be like everything from the compilation that we had. Like, so there could be some stuff thrown in there with a Dirge. It could be some Dirge.
I saw a lot of Dirge in there.
There could be Advent children in there as well.
Advent, yep.
Like this
go ahead.
It's going to be episodic. They're going to release it kind of like how they did Pocket Edition. In this episode, you get this and this and this. It's not going to be the full-blown. You're not going to get everything from FF7 remade in this. You're going to get scenes. You're going to get sections. But then the gameplay, the actual like combat is like turn-based. It looks like the remake graphics, but turn-based.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
I first, because they first showed scenes with Zach in the EverQuest, and I was like, or Ever Crisis, and I was like, is this the Crisis? Is this a Crisis Core remake? No, no, this one's not. But the next one is.
Yeah. So Ever Crisis will be on Android, iOS, closed beta this year, but then they took it to another video, and it was a remaster of Crisis Core, and with new assets, new character models, and they've said it's going to be completely voice acted,
which is freaking phenomenal.
It sounded like the voice actor from Zach from the remake, and Sephiroth from the remake, because there's different actors than what they did on the original Crisis Core and Advent Children and all that stuff. So that is coming this winter to PS4, PS5, Xbox S, X, Steam, PC, and Switch. And I'm just tickled. I'm just so.
Where are you going? Where are you going with it? Where are you going with it? Come on, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know you, and it's going to be hard for you to not get it on PlayStation.
It will
because that's where it is. But it's going to be hard for you to not get it on Switch because it used to be a mobile game. Not mobile. Mobile for us was portable. My bad. Misspoke there. Portable. So for you to have it on the Switch would be like, it's like reliving your childhood of playing Crisis.
Yeah. Right. Well, I still have my copy. I've got a PSP. I can play it right now if I wanted to. But this looks
not that pretty and not voice acting.
No. What I will say is that for those of you who saw me almost fall out of my chair, so this chair actually has a broken caster. So this whole show I've been balancing to make sure that I don't fall, because it no longer. So I'm like, I leaned over to pick something up, and I'm like, whoop! I about ate it right here on the show. I kind of forgot I was I've been sitting here so long, I forgot I was balancing. But I'm with you. I don't know. Part of me wants to just get it on PS5 and get a little bit shinier of a graphical edge on it and have it live there, because that's where I'm gonna play Remake and all that stuff going forward. Because I've got my Remake copy here. I don't have a physical copy of 5. I've got the digital up there, with that redeem thing, that you can do.
Same thing. Yeah.
I don't plan on buying another copy to have on PS5 unless I can find it at Replay for like $5, and I just want to have it for.
I really don't care to have it because I have the 10.
Yeah.
Same as you. So there's there's no reason.
It won't be
because
$5.
I'm not paying the $150 for the clock that they showed. You see us to clock available now, $300 or so, whatever the ridiculous price is.
Or the statue, or the figures.
The figures are $150.
Oh well, okay. So you remember, like, we were live on the air talking when they first announced the versions of the games that were coming out, where they had the one that we got, the deluxe with the art book and the steel book, and then that.
Because I argue with myself and you for a long time about getting the big one.
Well, the big one. Okay, so the big one comes with that, the one that we have. If I can reverse point. Whoop.
You're there.
Comes with that. And then just the figure of Cloud on the motorcycle. Is the figure of the Cloud of the motorcycle? It would look really cool right here, wouldn't it? If I had it right here, it looked badass. But what was it worth, the full $300 when that game is $80? No. It was not worth that much. And I'm sorry, it's not. In fact, no. I'm not sorry. Their figures have gotten way overpriced. They look cool. But that's the point. Like, I've got pop vinyls. I've got Roddy Piper from They Live, Thanos, and Boba Fett. And basically, like I got a, not just Thanos, Punisher Thanos.
Right.
So it's like, I've got Tigertron down here. All 3 of those combined don't come anywhere close to how much one of those figures cost. And I bought them for decoration because they live. I like Thanos, Punisher. I like Boba Fett. I like Beast Wars. I like Cloud, but I'm not buying a $150 figure of them. Anyway.
And so I'm looking up right now. Just so you know, there's a lot of stuff that I really want, like the Final Fantasy knitted plush of removal.
Oh yeah.
This is so freaking cute.
It's so freaking cute, but it's also
so
like $50.
Cute. Yeah.
I took a shot in the dark. Is it really $50?
$41.99.
Damn. Wait,
you close.
With shipping, you're looking at like 55 and taxes. Anyway. So I was tickled as can be to see Crisis Core, and it's coming out in so many places. Same as you, man. I now have an option. Can I get it on the Switch? Can I get it on PS5? I don't know.
Clock, yes.
The clock is $130, Bob. Higher? A lot higher?
In terms of the price you gave, yes.
Is it $230, Bob?
No.
Higher?
Lower. It's $199.
$199, so $200.
But they do have Aerith and Tifa's static art of them in their dresses from the remake.
Is it the blue dress? Is it the blue dress for Tifa?
The purple one? Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's the short one. It's the mini skirt. It's the mini skirt.
Well,
it's pre-order. It's pre-order. So
is that $70?
You wish. That's closer to the clock price.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna send it to you right now, just so you get it. You'll be like,
oh
no,
man. No,
it's gonna be a hard no.
I was tickled as can be to see finally after all these years, Crisis Core can be brought to more masses, right? Like that you can. Okay. Oh, so it was the statues, those little static.
Mm-hmm. They have the movable one of that too.
Of course they do, because you could definitely position her to be in.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes, they're just so outrageous for the price. It shows like all the stinking little poses.
Mm-hmm. Crisis Core Reunion coming out this winter. I was shocked to see that.
I about fell through the floor. As you recall in the text messages when I screamed at you, "Don't tell me nothing. I'm watching it now."
Yeah. So that was awesome because that's going to be. It says this winter, which could mean anywhere from December to March, I guess. But that means for Christmas, I'm going to be either buying or pre-ordering a new copy of Crisis Core, and I'm going to have to decide where I'm going to get it. I'm leaning towards the Switch because I feel like it's going to look good enough on a 1080p TV.
Well, it's not going to be 2K.
Yeah, I mean,
and they'd have to rebuild the whole entire thing from the ground up.
Do I think that it's going to look shinier on the PS5, and do I think that the frames per second might be better? Yes. I think it'll run flawless on the PS5. I guess maybe I'll have to wait to see how it runs on the Switch. I think it'll run fine on the Switch because I don't think that they're reinventing the wheel here, because the gameplay looked a lot of the same. But I'm super excited. But then when we got done with that, and he's like, "We got one more video to show you," I went, "Oh boy, oh boy."
Yep, gotta put the phone down now. Looking at this, it just got real dark in here, didn't it?
It did, but that's okay. It fits the mood because my mind was blown, and we really didn't see a whole lot. We didn't need to see a whole lot.
It's what they said. So my version of it, I had a lot of difficulty watching it because it kept cutting out, and it would give me a block. Oh, it's making me so mad, but I understand why. But did
you watch it again afterwards?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because
I watched enough of it. I like the way that it's almost like Cloud is already in the Ministry. because he's like, he doesn't know what's real, what's reality, what's not. Now, do you die? As he says to Tifa, and Tifa's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I don't understand. Like, I die? What is going on here?" Like, you can see he's very distraught and unknowing of what's happening now that I guess those memories are unlocked.
Either that, or they're starting to question, because literally with Aerith starting, what has happened in the past is in the past. We can't change it. But what's written for the future can be changed. And they keep flowing back to seeing the meteor drop. I mean,
seeing Holy.
Just like we said in our long ass review, the word remake was literal. It would this game was
reimagining the story.
It was reimagining the story because Sephiroth is trying to remake the timeline. He's trying to make this stuff happen again and have him not fail.
Mm-hmm.
He's messing with it, which is awesome because then it doesn't erase anything that has ever come before it, while still giving you the sweet nostalgia of being with these characters in a much shinier platform and going to places that you get to see in a much better world and vision. But it also doesn't completely erase what came before it. It is ballsy, and I love it. There are some that don't. And
there are some that don't, but it doesn't matter. Because you're seeing, like we saw at the very end, where I pretty much yelled at you, holy shit, they're walking together. Why are they walking together? My thought is that it's the problem with Zack's, where as you all know, the original storyline, he mixes his memories of Zack and himself.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that he's Zack, imagines himself as Zack.
But he's Cloud.
But he's Cloud.
Yeah.
Because you assume that we know that obviously he does not make it to the soldier program.
Yeah.
Until Hojo messes with him and Zack, which doesn't affect Zack any because, obviously he's already had this exact procedure. But
it gives Cloud severe Mako poisoning.
Right, and he is so deluded with what's happened. So now it's like you're getting more of like what's real. Did I really walk with Sephiroth? Did I really do these things with Sephiroth? I don't know. I like the way that they went PS1, like the PS1 version, quote unquote, but they did the one with the graphics update for Steam, and then took the pictures and then one-on-one them where it's like, here's what it used to look like, here's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because you get the nostalgia and then you're like, ooh, shiny.
Okay, so I think the scenes with him walking with Sephiroth, we are gonna get the version of him telling the background story, but then there's gonna be like this overall arcing plot is going to open up with where we left off with Remake. It's gonna open up and some things are gonna happen differently, and our heroes aren't gonna go down the exact same journey that they went on before. Because and that's one reason why I feel like Part 1 was contained to Midgard, because most of it had to go down the same kind of journey because they were locked in. Now that you're out of that, you're a little bit more free, and theoretically, they're free from the threads of fate. Nothing, random things. The way that the Intergrade is extra ending, which is that surprised the hell out of me that they added to the ending with yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was coming. I'm just sitting here kind of twiddling my thumbs, and then it's them walking on the street, and then I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? What's this?
And then Zack shows up to the damn church.
Oh, God.
So
he's the original one that broke the threads of fate.
Well, because then think of the ending. The way that the ending subverts you is, because some people are wondering about timelines. Is that a separate timeline? I think what has happened from the very beginning of this game, things had changed, and Zack didn't die. Cloud ended up doing what he's doing, but what happened to Zack? We're going to find that out.
And I'm excited to see that because it's Zack.
Because
I would like to see Zack and Cloud in a group.
Yes. But then now what we could see is an elaboration of Zach's part of the story. What happens with him? Because obviously if he's not dead in the story, what happens to him, what happened to him, we need to know. I need to know. Because now...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because that's what it does. The original games, the original remake subverted you for so long into thinking things were going one way and there'd be a little bit of changes and they'd be kind of like, oh, this and that. And then it just, boom, outright, Sephiroth trying to kill Barrett, spoilers, was him trying to like, damn it, change, and then him kind of using Cloud and the others to get rid of the threads of fate, the harbingers of fate. And then coming in right at the end, trying to kill them immediately to just get them out of the way. And of course,
I mean, it's not the only chance you had at that time. You got to take your shot now,
right? But I mean, then it comes to the name. This isn't Remake Part 2.
It's Rebirth.
I love it. I love it.
I'm excited for it. I don't care what anybody says because
next winter.
I know.
When I texted you a GIF of just mind blown, I was not ready for that.
Nope.
I wasn't ready for that at all. Next
and they say
winter,
it's going to be on 4 and 5.
No, 5 only.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It is 5 only.
See, they lied then, because remember what they said.
Originally, they said that.
Originally, you're going to be able to play it.
With this trailer, it is 5 only. That's why they work so hard. That's why if you owned 4, you get 5 free.
I knew they were going to do that, but
because
we both knew they were going to do that.
Just like I said before with Last of Us, the part 3 of this will be on the PS5.
Yeah.
And here's something, and here's how I know. Because well, I was on the Twitters, okay?
Tweets.
Let me see if she reposted them. Because there were some letters from all of the main guys involved.
Are you talking about the actress that played Aerith?
No. This girl, she's on Twitter. She is Japanese, and she's very much into FF7 and in Final Fantasy in general. And she actually has translated a lot of things over. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna read some stuff, so bear with me just a minute, okay? This is from Nomura, the creative director of the FF7 remake project. He was one of the guys that worked on the original, but he took over as director because the guy who was director before, he's now just a producer. Right. And that was Katase. He was the guy who was hosting the event. As revealed on the broadcast, there are currently 4 FF7 projects in development in parallel. And although each 4 of these titles play a different role, they're all connected to this high-quality depictions of FF7's world and characters. As someone who was involved in development of each and every one of these of the original titles, I deeply understand the vision and thoughts behind each project, and I am actively involved in the development process for all 4 of these titles. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is being designed so that people can enjoy this game whether or not they played the original game or not. In fact, new players might even enjoy starting their FF7 journey with Rebirth. Cloud and his friends embark on a new journey in this game, and I believe that the scenes that they witness after leaving Midgar will leave players a fresh, new experience. And then it goes, I'm trying to get the next page of that to load because there was a second page. Second page. I can't wait to share the intention behind naming the first title Remake and the second title Rebirth. In time, I hope to reveal what the third title will be called and where this journey will ultimately lead. The development of Rebirth has been progressing rapidly since we adopted a new development structure. A title of this scale on which everything is interconnected, even before production truly began, or even began, is truly rare. In fact, some development has already begun on the third title.
Wow.
I myself have started on the development and am working towards completion of the entire series. We will work to deliver this title to the fans in the same amount of enthusiasm and from now until we reach the finish line. Until then, Please enjoy the other 25th anniversary projects that further expand the world of FF7. So they also got to announce the fact that this is a 3-part series. 1, 2, and 3. Remake, Rebirth, whatever it's going to be. I saw a big, huge thing of what people were trying to guess what the next one. It I saw remake, Rebirth, RE2 remake.
Right.
But one that I did see was interesting, especially Requiem could be a name because they just used Reunion for Crisis Core. I'm not sure if they would pull that right back out. Here is a letter from Katase, Yoshinori Katase. He was the guy that hosted it. We have officially announced the second title, FF7 Rebirth, will be released next winter, approximately 3 years after. So this is going to be next winter, means probably around February 2024.
Yeah.
And then I bet that if they're starting development on 3 now, that full development of 3 will probably begin sometime next year.
Well, they usually have a 3 to 4 month polish cycle.
Right.
So, and print cycle. So I'm assuming if it's in February, they'll start in September, October, where you'll have a small team kind of finishing up the details. And then they'll leave it to the polish team to go in and get those where they need to be. And then your 1 month or 2 month print cycle of hard copy, physical copies.
What we have to remember is that everything that was said is subject to change based off what challenges that they meet going forward.
Which is fair.
And it is. Delays are a part of gaming cycle. They laid the groundwork and they gave themselves a time frame for when they want this done. And so hopefully they can meet it, and hopefully they can, because FF7 was a remake was delayed. It got delayed multiple times, but it seems like they are moving at a good pace.
Yeah, because somebody's vacation time hit it perfectly.
It was going to hit
and
mine
somebody's
perfectly.
Didn't.
But
I couldn't believe that happened.
But it actually worked out because we were on lockdown when part 1 came out.
Yeah, I know. And I canceled mine. So.
Yep. So, I mean, probably won't have. I hope we don't have another lockdown when part 2 when Rebirth comes out. We don't need that. I'm not that eager to play it.
It won't be me and you though.
I know. I am excited. Well, I'm falling over again. I can't do that. I am excited. It blew my mind to know that these things are so close around the corner. Crisis Core in winter next, and then within a year after that. So we got a winter, early January, February 2023, Crisis Core, January, February 2024, which you say that big number and it sounds so far away. It's not.
It's not.
It really isn't. And we're going to be playing it sooner than we think. And of course, now that we know this is a 3-part series, we know that there's so much ground that this game has to cover and get to that I kind of think you and me both know where it's going to kind of end up. And it's, well, you are really getting darker.
I know. So I was like,
But it's really cool. You know what? It's actually kind of cool because it looks like that we're just kind of like, because with how I have the stars and everything, like it don't look that bad. Anyway, what I was going to say is that we kind of both know probably it's going to be interesting to see how this part 2 wraps up, because we know how the big middle part of the game wraps up originally.
Yes.
How much are they going to stay faithful? What new is going to happen? I'm excited to go down this journey. And there was something that I read before we started the show, and it had to do with the God of War sequel that's supposed to be possibly coming out this year. And but I'm going to take exactly what this person said and just translate it into the hype that you and I both have for Rebirth. You know, here in a few years, we're going to be sitting here, you and me, talking about FF7 Rebirth. We're going to sit here and we're going to talk about it. I already know we are.
Yep.
But right now, all we can do is hope and conjecture and fantasize about what this is going to be. We haven't had a chance to experience it yet, but here soon we will. So let's enjoy the momentary ignorance that we have, because we're only going to ever get to experience that for the first time once.
Yep.
And I know I can speak for you when experiencing Remake for the first time, getting all the way to the end of that game. That was awesome.
There's one place that blows everybody's mind, and if it didn't blow your mind, I already know it did your mind, but you as a viewer or a listener, that the Cosmo Canyon.
Oh, yeah, the holodeck.
The holodeck Cosmo Canyon run. Wow. Just wow. That's all I gotta say.
Yep. Yeah. I'm super excited for the future. And you know what?
I'm excited to see what Casa del Sol looks like.
I'm excited. Temple of the Ancients. I want to see that. I want to see how things are.
City of the Ancients.
I want to see how things are going to change, because we know they're going to end this. This is the middle part, and what twinge down there. I don't know if you saw, the logo isn't as bright. It's got a little bit of red at the bottom, and the red clashes with the classic logo to make it a little bit more brooding. I feel like the end of this story, the end of this part of the story is going to be a little bit more broody. We may not get certain deaths that we thought, but what if they subvert it and they change it?
See, yeah, that's what I've been wondering too, is like, what is the changes going to be? Because that's such a pivotal moment in the game when that happens. It's like, how do you take that moment away? You need to redo the moment, but you need to do it differently.
Yeah, and the whole point of the game is telling you, basically, there is like the Terminator 2. There's no fate but what we make. The John Connor thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the future is not set. You know, Aerith saying the future is not set. We can make it changes. It doesn't have to go the same way it happened before, simply because we've already experienced it, or however they're going to interpret that. To these characters, to Barrett, Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Red 13, they have already gone down this journey before, but they don't know that they've done it. Because to them it is still new, but they have to wrap their heads around the fact that this is not the first time they've done this.
Do you think that Red 13 already kind of knew what was happening after Aerith touched him, because he instantly calmed down?
Maybe.
Because what happens? Every time she touched somebody, they were able to see the threads of things.
Yeah, they're able to see the whispers. Is that what they're called?
I think they're called the whispers. Yeah.
They're able to see. They're able to see them, and so the thing is, if they're gonna kill somebody else, which they already threatened that with Barrett, right? I thought, you know.
Yeah, the original way they were going to go.
Yeah, the very original plot line was Barrett dies, and then they did that, and they did Aerith, and then here in the remake, like, they did it! Especially him after having the scene with Marlene and all them. I'm like, oh, yeah, they're doing it. And then they undid it. Well, now they can't undo it anymore, or at least so we think. But do you really think that even if, and Aerith is the one saying it doesn't have to be the same, that she wouldn't instantly do it all over again if it meant saving somebody else, especially one of these core people?
If it meant saving the planet, it wouldn't even be a second thought.
If it meant saving Tifa, if it meant saving Cloud.
Yep.
No. In an instant, she'd be like, yep, I'm going to do it. And like, but we don't have to. No, we don't have to. But I'm going to. And
the question is she going to be upfront with what's happening? Because last time she didn't. She knew about Holy way before.
Right.
And in Temple of the Ancients, she kind of got I know what this is for.
Yeah, like basically the rest of the party members have to piece it together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
and somebody doesn't until the end.
Right. So like what I want to know is basically if the whole point of Rebirth is going to be like the whole game is subverting expectations, changing this, changing that, doing this, doing this. We don't have to do this way, not at all. And then the end of, but I still have to do this. And then so now the player is conditioned of, no, we don't have to do it this way, and it breaks your heart all over again.
It's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, it's like it's.
I don't want it to happen that way. By God.
But I mean, to me, I don't know. I can see them going that route of like basically making the whole story about changing everything and not letting everything be to this. Now your hands are tied and you have to, and now you have no choice.
So before we finish, I'm looking at my picture and I feel like you're about ready to see a Xeno come out of the background, because it keeps going, it keeps getting darker and darker and darker, like it does in the movie. And I'm like looking at this thing's glistening in the sunlight that's about gone. I'm like,
yeah, it is. Well, buddy,
because I don't have a light that's in front of me, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I'm just so happy that you wanted to do a podcast and talk and gush, because it's been too long since I've been having a chance to do that. We've gone 2 hours straight, and we're gonna kind of wrap it up here. But thank you again, Mike, for coming on and talking some games with me. And it's like what sucks is that what would be my podcasts and content sort of just get made at work with conversations, and then they never get recorded. Because I have conversations with Will, I have conversations with Blaine, I have these conversations that could be really good podcasts, and then never. So, and that was a problem you and I had when we were always working together. Of like at some point we had to not talk about certain things just so we could talk about them on the air. But
yes,
who knows?
Right now it's hard because there's just not a whole lot of information coming out. I mean, when we started the podcast, it was really with this E3 event that we were just like, oh, we got to talk about this. Like, we were taking notes, like we were texting each other, like, hey, I'll cover this, you cover that. Like, it was passion. And now it seems like a lot of stuff's fading away. You're not getting the games, 3-year cycle, 2-year development cycle. It's 5-6 year cycle, because we all know where it's going. Graphically, everything is graphically. It's upsetting, but it's refreshing to see other companies trying to harness the coreness of RPGs, the storytelling, the events. It doesn't have to be flashy. Don't get me wrong, the Flash looks phenomenal with the story, but we're waiting so much longer for these things to come out that it's just like right now I'm sitting here going, I don't know what I'm going to play. Like, September 11th rolls around. Obviously, I'll finish up Grounded, and we still don't know anything about Hogwarts Legacy. The unwritten holiday is not actually a holiday this year. An unwritten holiday would be referring back to Hogwarts, maybe the day you get a letter, or actually it's really the day that you go to school.
Yeah.
September 1st. So, we don't know, and they haven't released anything to where we can know.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I want to play that, but I'm almost not sure if I'm going to, what games I'm going to be really getting. As I said, I think Last of Us Part 1 is going to be, save that for holiday. I bought the Turtles game, which was only like 20-something bucks, so it wasn't a huge deal of a game for me, but it was something to play. This year I treated myself at tax time. I got MLB The Show. I got the new wrestling game, and both of those games are my games that I play when I don't know what else to play.
Yeah,
which is hilarious, because that's all I've been playing, nothing but MLB for the past 2 months, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. But I'm also kind of I'm probably going to be really ready to play Village when I get it, because I'm going to be ready to dive into a narrative. I haven't done that in a little while, so you know what? Maybe in another month or so, maybe we can link back up and talk about if there's anything else going on, or maybe we get some updates. But I mean, it's definitely not going to be every week like it used to be, because there's just not enough anymore. At least not for me. I mean, news about stuff seems to come out sporadically. It's not centralized anymore around a certain, I think we're supposed to be getting another State of Play, but like they're so weird about their State of Plays because sometimes they're really good and other times they're just kind of mediocre. And then there was one last year, the State of Play they did before the E3 time was all 100% around Horizon, which, you know, that game came out and is really good, but it also got, just like with oh crap, the Zelda game that came out, Breath of the Wild. You know, it got eclipsed by Elden Ring because everyone's like, Elden Ring's the best game ever made, and then, you know, Horizon is over here going, hey, we're Horizon and we're awesome and we're doing cool stuff, and everyone's like, Elden Ring, and so literally it kind of overshadowed again. But you know, there's some stuff going on. I'm excited to see more about the TV shows. There's a Twisted Metal TV show coming out. They're making one for it. They're doing a Twisted Metal TV show for Peacock. They're doing something with Netflix and Horizon. They're doing The Last of Us and HBO. You know, so PlayStation's doing stuff with their properties. The Uncharted movie, I still haven't watched that. I heard it was pretty good.
I watched it.
You like it?
It was. It was okay. It wasn't. It captured some of it. It captured most of it, but it's supposed to be, you know, the day he met the day he met Sully. That's what it's supposed to be, and it's good, but it's not like okay, amazing. I don't know it. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like
blown away by it. Okay, so like my newest prerequisite for anything that I think about anymore, because you can instantly start talking about like this or that, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and get into the hyper intricate details about why something's good or bad. And I ask myself one question. If I can answer this initial question with a positive note, that means it was good enough. Was I entertained?
Then yes, I was entertained the whole time.
Yeah. So by that notion, I'm going to enjoy it. Because I'm trying to leave myself open to not set expectations too high anymore.
It reminded me of Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider? Okay, yeah. I mean,
where you have the puzzle, but it had more of a puzzle, more of a story. It wasn't, you know, like Tomb Raider, the movie was, you know, pretty much just action and then a little bit. This was more of like detective work.
Well, okay.
But he really is more of a detective versus
Uncharted. In the games, Uncharted to me was always Tomb Raider meets National Treasure.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
you know, that kind of stuff. So like,
that's a good way. It's like National Treasure.
Yeah. So I mean, and those are fun movies. They're not the best movies ever made, but they're just fun. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm all for having fun, and I had fun today talking to you, and I hope all of you out there watching had fun too. And I hope to come back here soon and have some more fun doing this podcast with you again, Mike. Thanks again, and thank you all for watching, listening. We're on the socials. We're there. We exist. The podcast feed is there. All the old episodes are there. This new stuff isn't there yet. Maybe it will be within the next coming months. We're going to get some of this old stuff. By then, it'll be old stuff. But this new old stuff backed up and put up there. But until then, I've been Brando.
I've been Mike.
And we've been the Game Addicts Podcast, guys. Game on.